Welcome everybody to the live stream. I know we posted this a couple days ago, so we're live on LinkedIn. I'm a little late. A lot of things going on, work, life, everything. But hey, we started the live stream. We're just gonna give it a couple minutes to let a lot of people come in. If you're watching it, again, I'm running a little bit late, so we're gonna just get straight into it. And as we go, we're gonna discuss. So, for people that don't know, I'm the founder of Tech Woke Media. Christopher Akpala. I'm founder of TechWoke, also the founder of RMF Academy. I've been working in the federal contracting space for a long time. I've been in the contracting space period. I've been probably like 5, 6, 7 years. In the RMF space, I've been on almost 5 years. I've been doing this for a long time, a long while. I'm going to keep doing it. So, welcome everybody to the live stream. We're going to get into it again. I'm a little late. Welcome to everybody that's on. If you're on, just say something. I see there's 2 people on, so if you're on the live, just say something. Say hello. How you doing? Are you there? Just say something. And we're gonna go straight into it a little bit. And if anybody have any questions, just say it as we go. Okay. So for this live stream, we're gonna go over specifically how to test controls. Testing controls is a part of RMF, risk management framework. So we're just gonna go into it to ensure people understand how and what you do to test controls. So I have on my screen right now, we have how and why we test controls in the risk management framework. So we're going to go straight into it. How it's ensuring security, validating, and compliance. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Hey, Natoya, there's some people on. Florence, hey, how you doing, Florence? Everybody's live, so I appreciate you coming on live. Yeah, we're going to go into it, how to test controls, and we're going to do an example while we have it. So I appreciate everybody for coming on. Okay, we're going to go through the first slide. What is a control? A lot of people don't even know what a control is, why they do it, what's going on with that. What is a control? A control is for evaluating security controls to ensure the function as intended for the government. That's what security controls are. With security controls in general, they focus on step 3 and step 4. The step 3 in the RMF process is implement. Step 4 is assess security controls. So that's what's going on with that. The purpose is to make sure that the controls are implemented in the system correctly. So that's the point of controls. And make sure that everything's operating, make sure it's configured, make sure everything is following everything. So that's the point of having that. If anybody's on the live, just make sure you say something. Make sure we lively in here. It's a late day, late Friday, so make sure you say something, Okay, so we're going to go to the next slide. And again, after we've done this slide, we're going to go into actually how to test controls. Why do we test controls? It ensures the system meets security and compliance requirements. Identify vulnerabilities and misconfigurations, because each control has to have certain configurations. Again, if you're bringing OpenAI to the government, you got to make sure a lot of that stuff is not going directly to the website. A lot of the data is not going there. You're making sure you have those things in place. It generates evidence for a security assessment report, a SAR. Support risks and based decisions for the ATO. So it's making sure everything's compliant, so everything can be compliant for the ATO. If anybody's there, make sure you say something. On to the next slide. So the types of controls to test, you got technical controls. It could be encryption, access control policy. It can be operational controls, just making sure there's certain operations in place, making sure there's access control policy, making sure you know how privileged users are getting access to certain systems, things like that. Management controls, policies, and risk assessment. So it's different types of controls you test. That's going to be in the federal contracting. Federal government space. So there's different methods of testing controls. Hello, Brandon. How you doing? There's different methods of testing controls. You can review controls. You can review policies. You can review configurations. And you're examining that to see if those are compliant. And when you examine it, you're using evidence to make sure things are compliant. You can use a screenshot, things like that. When you're verifying this stuff, you're interviewing, you're talking to people to make sure things are compliant, and you're getting all that done in documentation. And then sometimes it can be hands-on controls you test, meaning like you actually have to see the system, take screenshots and things like that. So that's what you do to get evidence for testing the control. Does that make sense, everybody? And if you're in the chat, make sure you say something. Make sure you're there. Give it lively. Okay. What to look for when testing the control? Implementation is in the control. You're testing to see if it's implemented. So that's what you're making sure. Whether it can be in documentation, whether it can be in the configurations, things you're testing to see if it's in place. So you're testing, you're looking at the things when you're testing control. You're also seeing if it's operational taking in place. And when you're sometimes people just write stuff, you got to kind of verify is it being done and check the effectiveness if it's done. And from all these from the controls, it has to follow NIST 853 and its requirements to test controls. Okay, everybody. Okay, testing in action. So, for example, you got AC2 access control management. It wants you to know that you have an account creation and termination, periodic account reviews, and login and account activity. All this can be processed in something called the access control policy. If you have it in there, it's been reviewed, you verified how the process is, you put it in there, get the documentation signed. That's how you test the control to make sure those are in place. And then you use that documentation as evidence. Common pitfalls of control testing: outdated, incomplete documentation. Like I was just talking to y'all about, sometimes the documentation can be outdated, is not good information. So that's some of the things you can deal with testing controls. Confusing presence with effectiveness. Sometimes it's there, but it's not effective. You say it's there, but it's not effective. It's not involving the SMEs. Sometimes the SMEs don't know what's going on and it's not being tracked properly, and they don't even know it has to be done. There's a lack of alignment with the system security, with documentations in general in the RMF space. You got to make sure everything's aligning with the documentation. So you just got to make sure all that's in place. Everybody, does it make sense? How does the results feed into RMF? Security assessment, SARS, plan of action, milestones, all of that ties into it. Continuous monitoring. So that's all that ties into the RMF space, and this is more the authorization of everything. Okay, so final thoughts. Testing bridges paper compliance and with real security, provides actionable insights for improvement, and strengthens the system and mission assurance. So that's basically what it is. If anybody doesn't understand what testing controls is, we kind of broke it down. So yeah, how you doing, Brandon? How you doing, Florence? How you doing? So what we're going to do is we're going to just, as a group, we're going to test the control. So we're going to try to attempt to test the control as a group and just see so you can understand like what testing and control is, to kind of break it down. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Just give me a couple minutes to pull up my screen to make sure I have things in place. So everybody liking it? Okay. Okay. I'm about to share my screen, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying it. I'm loving it. Okay, 1 second, everybody. I'm going to show my screen. Can everybody see my screen? I see it. If I see it, I know everybody else sees it. Okay, so we're going to test some controls. We're going to test a couple of controls so I can make sure everybody understands what testing and control involves and how does the process work, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to look at these various controls. We have AU2. I'm not sure if everybody can see it. I'll try to blow it up a little bit so everybody can see. We have AU2. We got, it's the control for audit events. Okay, so we're going to start with this. Those that have access to continuous monitoring software understands how this works in the system. Since we don't have that, we're going to use an Excel sheet so we can break it down to you, okay? So we have control AU2. The control goes with audited events, okay? This is the evidence is looking for to satisfy this control to test it properly, right? Okay? So it's looking for to confirm that the organization managed information system accounts, creation, use, and removal in accordance with policy. So that's what it's looking for. It's looking for that particular evidence. In this example, I have a fake SSP. This is not a real SSP to anybody. This is a fake one that I created. So we're going to go to this fake SSP, and we're going to go to AU2. Okay. So in this SSP, it says GovTrack 360 uses Splunk to collect audit logs and system components. The system is configured to log in attempts, privilege changes, file access, administrative access. The organization maintains auditable events list approved by the ISSO and updated annually. The assessment finds while basic login and file access were present, the system did not log administrative actions such as role changes or failed privilege escalation. This gap leaves the system blind to high impact changes. So that's what we're going on. Is everybody tracking that? Okay, so since we're gonna see if this applies. So confirm the organization manage information systems, account creation, and removal process. We're gonna go back to that document. It doesn't do that. Okay. It doesn't do that. So since it doesn't do that, it's going to be, so when you're testing controls, it can either be one of the two things. It could be non-applicable, compliant, what's it called? Is not applicable, compliant, non-compliant, and partially compliant. So we're going to test this control. So we're testing it. When you test it, you're going into the system evidence to see if it applies. So we're going to go today's date. Okay, testing results. We found out is non-compliant. All right, so it's non-compliant based off the evidence on our fake SSP. Why is it not compliant? The program does not have evidence of this that we went over documented. So that's basically why this control is non-compliant, right? Does that make sense, everybody? Do you understand why it's not compliant? Anybody that's listening? Okay, not saying anything, but I'm gonna keep going. So we're gonna do another one. We're gonna pull up another one. So this AU6 audit and reviews and analysis reporting. Determine whether the audit logs are reviewed, analyzed, and anomalies are reported in frequencies. Okay. So we're going to go to our fake SSP and see if this is documented. So we're going to go to AU6. So AU6 says GovTrack 360 has established processes for audit reviews as defined in the ISSO. The system is intended to use Splunk and dashboards and alerts to identify usual behavior. Although the review process is defined in documentation, there is no verified evidence that the log retentions are occur randomly. Splunk intents had no configuration alerts, purposes used unauthorized, failed account privilege educating. Interviews with the SOC team revealed that the audit reviews are conducted as needed rather than weekly or defined schedule. Additionally, to the ServiceNow tickets and reports related to audit findings available for the last 90 days. This shows the lack of optimizational in the audit review process. Okay, so we're going to go back to that control. What it asks for, whether the audit logs are reviewed and analyzed in a defined frequency. So from reading that, it said there was no frequency listed. So what we're going to do is going to just mark this non-compliant also. We're going to mark it non-compliant. If it works. So we're going to do the test date 7/11/2025. We're going to make it non-compliant. We're going to say the program does not have evidence of, and we're going to put that in, audit logs reviewed, analyzed, and anomalies reported frequencies. Documented. So that's what's going on. That's why it's failed. That control is failed. It's non-compliant again. So we're going to do now, we're going to go to AC6, least privilege. Okay. We're going to test this on our fake SSP to see if it's documented with GovTrack, the system that we created. Okay. So we're going to AC6. We're going to see. It's looking for, it's going to be a least privilege control, and it's going to be assess whether users are assigned only privileges necessary to perform their job. So we're going to go to AC6. So the organization employ, okay, so rollback access control, role-based access control is enforced through Active Directory groups with sole role definitions aligned with job functions. Privileged accounts, system administrators are limited to and reviewed quarterly. Access control lists are in place to restrict features of the case closure and all privileged education. Review of the AD membership access privilege changes show that the users only have necessary to their roles, no excessive privilege. So this is good. So what we're going to say, this is compliant because it's documented. So we're going to go here, 711. So this one's actually compliant. We're going to say compliant. And you're going to say, please see the Gov Track SSP page 2. Okay, so whoever's looking through the system will know where to find it and see it's compliant. So we're going to make that compliant. Okay, so that's how you test controls. I see some questions I'm about to pull up. And if anybody has any questions, please share. So I see one question from Brandon. How often are the logs reviewed? That was for the, I think that was for one of the other questions, but it just depends on the control. Some of them want them reviewed annually, some of them reviewed quarterly. It just depends on the control. You know, whatever control is asking for, it wants something. It just wants a frequency depending on the control. So I hope that answers your question, Brandon. It just depends on the control. These are hypothetical situations. Okay. Okay. Did anybody have any questions about being an ISSO? I'm on here for a couple more minutes. Did anybody have any questions about being an ISSOs? We're done testing the controls. We went over the slides on how to test the controls. We actually showed you how to test controls. Does anybody have any questions about being an ISSO or any questions in cybersecurity? Let me know. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Go, depending on that, I'm going to stay on a little longer. Anybody have any questions about what it is to be in cybersecurity, ISSO job, government space? Have any questions for me, period? Just let me know. Anybody have any questions? Say it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see you, Brandon. You said we was both. I didn't see you, so we was assessing together. We was assessing together. Maybe I might just get online. We're just going to just do all that, have some fun, get some practice in. Okay. Yeah, if anybody doesn't have any questions, anybody don't want anything to say, I'm going to get it all. But what I will say for anybody that wants to learn anything on RMF, make sure you check out rmfacademy.io. On my LinkedIn page, click the website. Or also get that RMF free book. It tells you about some of the things on how to become an RMF specialist, become an ISSO. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you check those things out. Check out rmfacademy.io. Check it out. And if anybody didn't have any more questions or concerns, we're going to end it out and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Thank you, everybody that was watching. And make sure you check out that replay to check out how to test controls if you don't know already how to do it. I know Brandon knows how to. All right. Peace out, everybody.